your job is to take on example number 3. So you get example number 3, the other people in your group will get a different example, and then your job will be to be the expert on this one, which is finding the hole. And so after you all go through and become an expert on your piece, you will teach the rest of your group how to do this, and then you'll get to go to work on your assignment after that. So just a quick review of yesterday. Yesterday we made all of these equations. We had stuff similar. We had a question that said 6 is 15% of what number, and we set it up in a proportion like down here. And you always put the percent on top, and percent always comes out of 100. Good. And then is over of. And I really like setting things up as proportions. That works really well for me. But there's also another way to do it, and I think this is how you did it last year. You did equations. So in order to do it the equation way, then we still use the is and the of, but we need to learn to translate things. So what, when you see the word what, you're going to translate that into a variable. So I like to use X. Some other people like to use K or T or I or S or whatever letter you want to use except for O. You can do that. So what always gets translated to the variable. Of means multiply. And really you can see that over here because remember you always multiplied the percent by the of. Okay. Then is means equals. And that, the top, the is, that was equal as well. So it's similar to what you had yesterday. So what is the variable? Of means multiply, is means equals. All right, so let's go over here, and our question is 6 is 15% of what number? Yesterday we put that into a proportion. Today, let's just translate it. So step 1, translate 6. You just write the 6. Is. What does is mean? Got it, equals 15% of what number? Okay, now something super important. You cannot use the percent button on your calculator, and you probably don't even have a percent button on your calculator. So we've got to take this, change the decimal to the percent. So really what that should say is change the percent to a decimal. Darn, and I already made the copies. So you change that and let your people know that as well when you teach them. So change your percent to a decimal. So here's the percent. What do? So you take the decimal point back 2 times. So now I have 6 equals 1500, so 0.15 times x. Now, step 3, I've got to solve. So how do you undo this right here is a multiplication problem. So how do you undo times 0.15 or 1500ths? You divide by it. Divide by that. So divide by 0.15. So then you grab your handy dandy calculator. So I'm going to give you a moment to do that. You can push pause if you want to, or you can just do it while I'm talking. And you do 6 divided by 0.15, and you get 40. Now, does that make sense? Well, we could go backwards. 6 is 15% of what number? You could, just to check it, 6 divided by 40. 6 divided by 40, when I do that on my calculator, gives me 0.15, which turns over into 15%. Yep. So x equals 40. So your job right now, you're going to go down and try a couple of those on your own. Don't round. Get them into your notes. So what I want you to do is push pause. Then I want you to try them on your own. After you've done them, come back and check with me to make sure that you have done them right. Go. So hopefully you've paused, and so you have some answers right now. So the first thing we do, we've got to translate. So 36, just write that, is 30%. Now what do we need to do with the 30%? Because we can't use it like that. got it, we turn that into a decimal, so 0.30 of what number? What number is x or n, whatever you choose to use. Now I've got to solve this. So how do I undo times 0.30? Divide by 0.30. Divide by 0.30. When I do that, I get x equals, what did you get? I got 120. Is that what you got? Does that make sense? 36 out of 120, is that equal to 30%? Yeah, it is. So we've got it. All right, over here, 19.2. So translate that. You just rewrite it. 19.2 means equals 32. Can you use it like that? No. 0.32 of what number? X. All right, so let's go through. Last thing we got to do, undo the multiplication, solve it. To undo times 32 hundredths, I divide by 32 hundredths. Divide by 32 hundredths. And what did you get when you did that? X equals 60. So 19.2 divided by 60, does that give you 32%? Yes, it does. So now your job, you're going to get back together with your people and you're going to teach them how to do this.